All right, you beautiful bastards, welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're going to go balls deep into a legendary tech feud that's basically the Thrilla in Manila of operating systems.
Oh, yeah.
We're talking about the Tanenbaum-Torvalds debate,
Oh,
a
God.
shitstorm that unfolded in the Wild West days of the internet. Picture this.
Right.
It's the early 90s. The internet is just a goddamn twinkle in Al Gore's eye.
Uh-huh.
And these two titans of tech, Andrew Tanenbaum, the MINIX OG,
Yes,
and
daddy.
Linus Torvalds, the Linux badass, are going at it like rabid honey badgers in the comp.os.minix Usenet group.
Oh, wow.
No holds barred, no safe spaces, just pure, unadulterated nerd rage.
Love it.
They're clashing over microkernels versus monolithic kernels, slinging accusations of obsolescence.
Yeah.
Basically measuring their e-peens about whose operating system's the shit.
Oh, classic.
You ready to dive into this dumpster fire?
Oh, absolutely. Let's do it.
Let's fucking do it.
So let's cut through the bullshit and break down the core of this tech bro throwdown. It all boils down to how operating systems are structured, the very foundation of how computers do their goddamn thing.
Right.
Now imagine a microkernel like a team of specialized chefs in a Michelin star restaurant.
Okay.
Each chef has their own domain, prepping specific ingredients or techniques with laser focus.
Got it.
They need to communicate constantly to make sure the dishes come together seamlessly.
Right.
That's your microkernel, all about elegance and modularity.
Fancy.
Now picture a monolithic kernel like a greasy spoon diner with one badass short-order cook running the whole show.
Okay, I like where this is going.
He's flipping burgers, frying eggs, and plating fries all at once, a one-man army of culinary chaos.
Uh-huh, nice.
It might not be pretty, but it's fast, efficient, and gets the job done.
I can respect that.
That's your monolithic kernel, baby, raw power and simplicity.
I'm getting hungry.
Tanenbaum, the professor, was all about that microkernel finesse.
Right.
Seeing it as the future of operating systems, flexible, reliable, and secure.
Makes sense.
Torvalds, the maverick coder, went all in on the monolithic approach with Linux prioritizing performance and efficiency above all else.
Yeah, and
Well, you know how that turned out.
talk about a fucking mic drop moment.
Mhm.
Tannenbaum comes out swinging, declaring Linux is obsolete.
Oh, shit!
He basically shits all over Linux, claiming it's a relic of the past tied to this clunky by 86 processor architecture.
Interesting.
His argument was all about portability, believing that microkernels were the key to conquering the future of computing,
Okay,
a future that would transcend the limitations of the by 86.
I see.
He basically thought Linux was a dinosaur heading for extinction.
Wow.
Little did he know.
Now let's give the professor his due. He wasn't just talking out of his ass.
Okay.
Minix, his own operating system, baby, was designed for teaching.
Right.
Think about it. He had to cater to broke-ass students running ancient computers without even a hard drive.
Makes sense. Got to start somewhere.
Minix had to be lightweight and portable, a lean, mean teaching machine. Linux, on the other hand, was built for the then cutting-edge 386 processor, a beast of a machine at the time.
Yeah, that was a powerful chip back then.
So Tanenbaum was coming at it from a practical standpoint, prioritizing accessibility and efficiency for his students.
Right.
Linux, meanwhile, was all about pushing the boundaries of what was possible with the latest and greatest hardware.
So they were coming at it from totally different angles.
Exactly.
And Torvalds, being the fiery Finn that he is, wasn't about to take that shit lying down.
Oh, I bet.
He fires back, basically calling out Minix for being a castrated pony with his limitations, like the lack of multi-threading.
Ouch.
He also hits Tanenbaum with the classic, dude, I'm doing this for free in my spare time card, which always stings, right?
Haha, yeah, that's a good one.
It's like saying, if you're so goddamn smart, professor, why don't you build a better OS yourself?
Right.
Torvalds was all about pushing the limits of the 386 architecture, squeezing every ounce of performance out of that silicon beast, even if it meant sacrificing some portability.
Bold.
He was a goddamn coding cowboy living on the bleeding edge.
And that's where this whole thing gets really fucking interesting.
Okay, lay it on me.
They had completely different goals, different visions for the future of operating systems. Tanenbaum was all about elegance, portability, and creating a system that could educate and empower a generation of computer scientists.
Yeah, the professor mentality.
Torvalds was obsessed with performance efficiency and building a system that could unleash the full potential of powerful hardware.
The hacker mentality.
It wasn't just a technical debate, it was a philosophical clash between two different approaches to software development.
Right, and let's not forget there were other players in this OS free-for-all Gina you heard, and 4.4 DSD were also vying for the crown, trying to make their mark on the world.
Yeah, they were in the mix too.
But neither of them really took off.
Nope.
Tanenbaum actually predicted everyone would be running GNU on these fancy SPARC stations in 5 years.
Haha. Oh, wow.
Well, that aged about as well as a carton of milk in the Sahara Desert.
Not well at all.
Talk about a bad bet, right? Yeah. Hindsight is a bitch.
Tell me about it.
We all know how it played out. Linux exploded, becoming the foundation of the internet as we know it.
Sure.
But back then, it was the Wild West of operating systems,
Yeah.
and nobody knew which approach would win out.
That's true.
It's fascinating to look back and see how these early design choices, these seemingly insignificant technical decisions, ultimately shaped the technological landscape we have today.
Absolutely. It's mind-blowing when you think about it.
It really is.
But here's the thing, and this is where it gets a little less fuck you and a little more awe.
Okay.
Despite their heated exchanges, their public nerd rage, Torvalds and Tanenbaum actually remained on relatively good terms.
Really?
Torvalds even acknowledged Tanenbaum's influence, admitting that he wouldn't have created Linux without MINIX to learn from.
Huh, that's kind of sweet.
It's like they were rivals, but also respected each other's game.
Exactly. It was a clash of titans, but a productive one.
Yeah.
It pushed both of them to refine their ideas and contributed to the advancement of operating system design as a whole. That's a good point.
It's a reminder that sometimes even the most heated arguments can lead to progress and innovation.
But hold on to your asses, folks, because this story takes another wild turn.
Uh-oh.
Later on, there were accusations that Linux was actually ripped off from MINIX, a whole samizdat controversy that claimed Torvalds had plagiarized Tanenbaum's work.
Oh, damn.
It was like the tech world's version of a paternity test gone wrong.
Yeah, that was a wild ride. The accusations caused a shitstorm in the tech community.
I bet.
But Tanenbaum, the alleged victim of this grand theft code, actually came to Torvalds' defense.
No way.
He vehemently denied the plagiarism claims, stating that MINIX was always intended as an educational tool, not some commercial product he was trying to protect.
That's pretty stand-up of him.
He even referred to Linus as one of his star students, which I thought was pretty damn classy.
Okay, but get this, and this is where shit gets really mind-blowing.
Hit me.
MINIX is actually running inside millions of Intel processors today. It's part of the Intel management engine, this separate hidden processor that handles all sorts of behind-the-scenes stuff like security and power management.
No shit!
So in a way, Tanenbaum's creation is more widespread than he ever imagined.
Wow!
It's like the ultimate revenge of the microkernel silently running the show from within.
It's a bizarre twist of fate, isn't it?
It really is.
MINIX lives on not as this standalone operating system, but as this hidden engine powering some of the world's most ubiquitous technology.
It's everywhere.
It shows that even in the fast-paced, cutthroat world of tech, sometimes the underdog finds a way to endure, even if it's in the shadows.
So there you have it, folks. The Tanenbaum-Torvalds debate wasn't just some geeky pissing contest. It was a battle of ideologies that shaped the future of computing.
For sure.
It's a reminder that even the most brilliant minds can disagree, and those disagreements can spark incredible innovation.
Absolutely.
But we're just getting started.
Oh, really?
There's more to unpack here, more layers to this onion, more fuel for this dumpster fire.
I'm intrigued.
Stay tuned, you magnificent bastards.
Can't wait. All right, you degenerates. Welcome back to the deep dive. We're knee-deep in the shit show, that is, the Tanenbaum-Torvalds debate. We've laid the foundation and explored the clashing philosophies of these two keyboard warriors. But let's rewind the clock a bit and dig into the technical guts of this geeky brawl.
Yeah, let's rip the lid off this motherfucker and see what makes it tick.
Yeah.
We know Tanenbaum was all about modularity with his microkernel approach. It's like building a Death Star out of Legos.
Right.
Each piece has a specific job, and you can rearrange them on the fly to create this monstrous weapon of galactic destruction. He thought this made operating systems more flexible and easier to maintain. Like, you can just swap out a busted laser cannon without bringing down the whole damn empire.
Exactly. With a microkernel, you've got this tiny core that handles the bare bones shit, like memory management and process scheduling.
Yeah.
Everything else runs in user space as separate servers. So if one server crashes, it's like losing a TIE fighter. The Death Star keeps on chugging. It's all about containment, baby. Isolating the damage and keeping the system stable.
So it's like damage control for nerds. If one part goes haywire, the rest of the system can keep jerking off to cat videos. Makes sense from a stability standpoint.
Right.
But Torvalds wasn't buying it. He went full-on monolith with his kernel, where everything runs in a single address space. More like a giant goddamn super Lego structure, where everything's glued together with industrial-strength epoxy.
Right, and Torvalds had his reasons. Monolithic kernels are generally faster because there's less overhead from all that chit-chat between components.
Make sense?
It's like having all your stormtroopers crammed into one room instead of spread out across the Death Star. They can blast those rebel scum a lot quicker when they're not wasting time running up and down corridors.
But wouldn't that make the whole thing more fragile? Like if one stormtrooper trips over his blaster rifle and blows a hole in the reactor core, doesn't the whole damn Death Star go up in smoke?
Theoretically, yes. But Torvalds argued that with good coding practices and some duct tape, you could minimize the risk of catastrophic failures. He was also banking on the fact that hardware was evolving at a breakneck pace. The 386 processor was a goddamn beast compared to its predecessors.
Yeah, for sure.
And he knew future chips would only get more powerful.
So he was basically saying, bring on the complexity. We've got the processing power to handle it. Balls out move. But it paid off big time in the end. Linux's performance gains were undeniable, and its open-source development model meant a bunch of nerds around the world could contribute to its stability and security. It's like the Rebel Alliance building their own Death Star, only way more effective.
Absolutely. It was a gamble, but it paid off and transformed the computing world. Linux's success proved that monolithic kernels could be both powerful and reliable as fuck. It flipped the bird to conventional wisdom and opened up a new era of operating system design.
But let's not forget Tanenbaum's hard-on for portability. He believed that chaining Linux to the x86 architecture would limit its reach in the long run. He thought it would be like building a Death Star that can only fly in one quadrant of the galaxy. What did Torvalds have to say about that?
Torvalds admitted that portability was a compromise. He was willing to sacrifice some of that galactic reach for performance gains. He knew that the x86 was the dominant platform at the time, and he wanted to squeeze every last drop of power out of it. It's like saying, fuck those other quadrants, we're going to build the most badass Death Star this quadrant has ever seen.
So he was playing to his strengths, focusing on optimizing for the hardware that everyone and their grandma was using at the time. Smart move considering most developers and users were running x86 systems anyway. But in the long run, didn't Linux eventually spread to other architectures? Like, did the Death Star eventually conquer those other quadrants?
You bet your ass it did. Over time, Linux has been ported to a mind-boggling array of devices, from tiny embedded systems to colossal supercomputers. It's a testament to the flexibility of its design and the dedication of its development community. But those early design choices, prioritizing performance over portability, definitely shaped its trajectory. It's like the Death Star got some upgrades and learned to warp speed across the galaxy.
So it's like that old saying, you got to break a few eggs to make an omelet. Only in this case, it's you got to blow up a few planets to conquer the galaxy. Torvalds was laser-focused on building a high-performance OS, and he wasn't afraid to make some tough choices to achieve that goal. And in the end, those choices helped propel Linux to galactic dominance.
That's a damn good analogy. The Tanenbaum-Torvalds debate wasn't just some academic circle jerk. It was a clash of visions about the future of computing. And it's a reminder that progress often comes from challenging assumptions and pushing the boundaries of what's possible.
All right, you beautiful bastards, we've gone deep into the technical nuts and bolts of the Tanenbaum-Torvalds debate. Now get ready for the final act, where we'll explore the aftermath of this epic showdown and its lasting impact on the world of technology. But first, we got to take a piss break. Stay tuned. All right, you glorious degenerates, our bladders are empty, and we're back for the final round of this tech bro beatdown. We've dissected the code, we've analyzed the arguments, we've laughed at Tanenbaum's shitty predictions. Now let's talk about the fallout of this whole nerd rage explosion, because this wasn't just a battle over curly braces and semicolons. It actually shaped the fucking internet as we know it.
Damn straight. This debate went way beyond the technical nuts and bolts of microkernels versus monolithic kernels. It was a philosophical showdown, a clash of ideologies about how software should be developed and who should be in control. Tanenbaum represented the old guard, the academic elite with their obsession with elegance, portability, and top-down design principles.
And Torvalds was like the goddamn Che Guevara of coding, the revolutionary leader of the open source movement. He was all about practicality, performance, and community-driven development. He embraced the chaotic, messy brilliance of open source, and it turned out to be a winning fucking strategy.
Linux's success was a massive middle finger to the traditional software industry. It proved that a ragtag bunch of volunteers scattered across the globe could create software that was as good as, or even better, than the shit that big corporations were turning out. It forced those corporate behemoths to rethink their approach to innovation, to realize that maybe, just maybe, collaboration and openness could be more powerful than secrecy and control.
And it wasn't just about operating systems, man. The open source model spread like a goddamn virus, infecting every corner of the tech world. Web browsers, databases, programming languages, you name it. It's become the driving force behind some of the most innovative and widely used technologies on the planet. It's like Linux unleashed this Pandora's box of collaborative development, and the world hasn't been the same since.
The Tanenbaum-Torvalds debate also highlights the importance of timing and context. Back in the early 90s, the internet was still in its awkward teenage years, and the x86 architecture was rapidly becoming the king of the hill. Torvalds' decision to focus on performance and embrace the x86 platform was a stroke of fucking genius.
He rode the wave of the internet boom like a goddamn surfing champion, and Linux became the foundation for countless web servers, cloud platforms, and mobile devices. It's almost impossible to imagine the modern internet without Linux. It's the silent workhorse, the invisible infrastructure that keeps the whole digital world running. It's like the plumbing that nobody sees but everyone relies on.
And while Tanenbaum's microkernel dreams never quite materialized, his contributions to operating system design shouldn't be dismissed. MINIX inspired a generation of programmers, it shaped the thinking of countless students, and let's not forget, it's still running inside millions of Intel processors, like some kind of secret agent embedded deep within the enemy's ranks.
Yeah, that whole Intel management engine thing is some next level shit, man. It's like Tanenbaum's revenge, his microkernel quietly pulling the strings from behind the scenes. It's a testament to the fact that even in the fast-paced, constantly evolving world of technology, sometimes the underdog finds a way to survive, even if it's in the shadows.
The Tanenbaum-Torvalds debate is a reminder that even the most heated, profanity-laced arguments can lead to progress. It's a testament to the power of passion innovation and the relentless pursuit of better technology, even if it means telling your opponent to go fuck themselves in the process.
So what the fuck can we learn from this epic tech bro throwdown? First off, never underestimate the power of a good argument. It can spark new ideas, challenge assumptions, and push the boundaries of what's possible.
Second, embrace the unexpected. Sometimes the underdog wins. Sometimes the technology that seems destined for obscurity finds new life in the most unexpected ways.
And finally, remember that the future is never set in stone. The world of technology is in a constant state of flux, and the next big breakthrough could come from anywhere, from some kid coding in their basement to some rogue AI that decides to take over the world.
The Tanenbaum-Torvalds debate is a fascinating chapter in the history of computing. It's a story of clashing egos, brilliant ideas, and the relentless march of progress fueled by equal parts brilliance and bullshit.
And on that note, you magnificent bastards, we're wrapping up this deep dive. We hope you learned some shit, laughed your asses off, and maybe even felt a little bit inspired. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible, even if it pisses off a few professors along the way.